Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Yassine, and this right here is the Galaxy S10, and I've been using this phone for the last couple of weeks, and a few of you guys have noticed my setup on my home screen and were asking me about that setup and how to create it in video comment section and also on Instagram. So I want to show you guys my setup today, talk about it a little bit, and then show you how to set it up. So if you guys have been following my channel and if you guys know me a little bit, then you know that I like very simple, clean, and minimal setups. That's how my desk is set up. That's how I'm trying to set up my studio. And that's how I have my phone set up. So the launcher that I'm using is Nova Launcher. And I keep it very simple. It consists of 2 columns and each column has 6 apps in it. So there's 12 apps that I use most often and all the time. And then I also group them right next to each other, like the calendar is next to the calculator, YouTube next to YouTube Creator Studio, Caller is next to Messenger. And that way it's easy for me to get to them. And also it keeps it very simple. And one thing that I like about Nova Launcher is that it has this hidden apps. What I mean by that is if I click on the Amazon app, then you will see the Amazon launch up and it's the Amazon app. But if I swipe up on Amazon, then it's going to launch a different app, which is eBay. So you can do that in Nova Launcher by pressing and holding an app you have on your home screen, clicking edit, and then you can see that section that says swipe action, and that lets you select any app that you want for the swiping. And basically that's what I've done with all these apps on my home screen. So now I have not 12 apps on my home screen, but technically 24 apps. And those are the apps that I used mostly. If I need to get to anything else, then I'll just swipe up and go into the app launcher and go into the app that I need. But honestly, I can get through the whole day just with these 24 apps. So there's no other home screen on the right hand side, and on the left hand side we have the Google Now feed, and this just lets me look up things that I'm interested in, sports, a bunch of tech stuff, so no need to worry about that. So I'm going to show you guys how I set this up, and I'm also going to leave a link down below in the description of my Galaxy S10 Nova Launcher backup so that you guys can download it and then use it, or also just use it as a baseline and add more customizations to it to make it your own. But basically, first thing we want to do is go into the settings of the Galaxy S10 and you want to search for navigation bar. And once you go into navigation bar, you want to go to the section where it says navigation bar, click on it and say full screen gestures. And what that does is it hides all the navigation bar and like the back, recent, and home, and turns them into swipes. And basically that just makes the whole home screen look more clean and more minimal. So once you've done that, then you want to download Nova Launcher. And once you download Nova Launcher, you want to press and hold on the home screen, go into settings, and here's the things that I've changed. If you go to the home screen at the top, I made the grid 5x10. And I also checked the subgrid positioning. And the reason that I did that is because even though we have 5 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with subgrid pattern, it lets me put it in between grids. So between 2 and 3, I can put it in there, and that way it lets me center it. So that is one thing that I've done. And then the second thing that I've done is actually go into the dock layout, and I actually just disabled the dock, and that's why you don't see any dock on the bottom right here. So if we go back to the Nova Launcher, that's the 2 things that I've done in the home screen setup section. Now, second thing I did is go into look and feel. And if you go into look and feel, you have icons. And the icons that I'm using are called Minty Fresh, but other ones that I recommend are also Candy Cons and Coffee Icon Pack. So all you do is download these icon packs from the Google Play Store, and then you can just come into Nova Launcher, you can go into the section Look and Feel, go into Icons, click on Icon Theme, and select the one you want. And so far right now I'm rocking the Minty icons, and this is what they look like. They're kind of colorful, but also at the same time very flat style, and that's what I like about them. So that's the icon pack that I'm using, and that's how I created the 2 rows. Now, the last thing that I did in Nova Launcher is if I go into the settings, you go into gestures and inputs. So if you go into gestures and inputs, I've changed 3 things. First one is swipe up. Swipe up is for the app drawer, and you can swipe up from anywhere, from the bottom right, from the bottom left. I know you probably can't see this on the screen, but you can pretty much swipe anywhere on the home screen and it's going to pull up your app drawer. The second thing that I've done is go to swipe down action, and that lets me bring down the notification tray. And that way, if I'm using this with one hand, I don't have to try to reach up there. I can just swipe down from anywhere and I have my notifications showing up right there on the screen, regardless of which hand that I'm using. And that makes it easy for you to use a big phone with one hand. And then the last thing that I did in the gestures and input section is the double tap for Nova settings, and that's what I've been doing to get into the settings. You just either press and hold and go into settings, or you can double tap and it's going to put up your Nova settings. And that makes it easier when you are adjusting settings on the fly. If you make an adjustment, go home, and you want to see if that's exactly what it looked like, but then you want to quickly change it, you can double tap and go into the settings for Nova Launcher. So home screen, look and feel, and gestures. And that's the three things that I've changed on this setup and just my icon pack, and that's how I set everything up. There are two additional things that's going on in here that make this whole setup. One, it's the widget, and this is a very simple widget. It's from KWGT widget. So if you long press on the home screen and you click on widgets, you can scroll up to KWGT, which I'll have a link down below in the description. You can just press and hold it, bring it anywhere on the home screen, and then it lets you click, and now you can select a plugin. And these are the plugins that I use, which is Huck WGT, KWGT, Ornate KWGT. I'll have all these linked down below in the description, but the one you guys see right now on the home screen is from the Huck plugin. So you want to click on the Huck or Hook, I honestly don't know how you pronounce that, and then you just scroll up and find the one you like. I believe the one I'm using is the number 15 right here, and when you click on it, you can adjust it by just making it larger, going to the layers, making it larger, or making it smaller, and adjusting the little things as much as you want. I could probably do a whole video on just Huck and KWGT and all that setup, but that is the widget that I'm using for the home screen. So right now I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that. And the last thing that I want to touch on is what makes this whole setup complete, and that is an app called Fluid Navigation. So this app works on any Android phone, and what it does is it lets you swipe in from the right, it lets you swipe in from the left, and also from the bottom, which I have basically minimized the one from the bottom because I don't want to get in the way of the gestures. But what that does is it lets you use those triggers from on the left and on the right for things like back, so that you don't have to try to go exactly to that back position on the bottom left of your phone. And it also lets you go back to most recent apps. So if I swipe from the left, I can go back, but if I keep swiping and hold, then it's gonna go back to the app that I was using most recently. And it's the same thing from the left. And basically what that does is if I'm in, for instance, Amazon, and I search for PS4 Slim, which is something that I've been looking for recently. Now, if I want to go back and I'm using my left hand, I can just swipe from the right and it's going to go back. And if I want to go, and if I'm using the other hand and I'm in Phoenix, which is my Twitter client, and I'm just swiping and going to different screens and I want to go back, I can just swipe from the right and it's going to go back home. So it makes it using apps very simple. Like if I'm using my right hand and I try to reach that bottom right corner, it's really difficult to. So with Fluid Navigation, I can go back from the right, and if I'm in my left hand, I can go back from the left side. And honestly, that application has made using large phones very easy, very simple. And you guys know that phones are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Like I used to use the Samsung Galaxy S9 from last year, and also the Pixel 3, and the Samsung Galaxy S10 just got bigger than the Galaxy S9. So that's the trend. Things are moving, and apps like Fluid Navigation makes it easy for you to use with one hand. Anyway, that's what's on my Android phone, and that is the setup that I've been rocking. Like I said, I'm going to leave a link down below in the description so that you guys can download the Nova Launcher backup so that you can use it for your own setup. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up. That really helps my channel grow. If it's your first time here, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Until then, stay plugged.